Lads, how are we?
Good morning.
It's not the morning. It is the evening.
Pre-evening? No,
Good
not
evening. No.
It's 6 p.m.
It's 6 p.m.
even. Yeah.
I don't know why you're saying good morning.
It's
You
good
ever know
evening.
the Alfred Hitchcock, the Good Evening?
Sorry?
The Alfred Hitchcock Good Evening?
No.
Or when he says good evening.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What? British
don't.
filmmaker, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, I know who he is, but I don't
Yeah.
know this
Okay.
good evening thing.
I'll send it soon.
Okay.
Good. All right.
Yes.
There's a video you were supposed to show us after last show that you never did too.
I actually could not find it. I did my
I
best.
don't even remember what video was it.
About it was like from a British comedy about how you shouldn't say we when you're talking about the sports team.
Yes.
I am very nervous, guys. I don't know
Reasonably so.
if you can hear it, but I can. The Bell Center crowd outside they've been lining up all day. We're hours from game time and the crowd is bigger than it was outside for game 4 against the Jets.
They are they're not allowed to, I guess, because you're not allowed to do it here, but tailgating in a way.
Basically, minus the barbecues and trucks outside the parking lot.
They should
if the Bell Center was one of those arenas by themselves surrounded by parking lots, probably, but it's a bit difficult to do that but they are doing close as possible. And the restaurants around probably help, but
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I've been nervous since midnight. I was up at midnight and I just I was up because it's my buddy Owen's birthday today. So I wanted to be the first one, not Owen Power, Owen Doucette, no. And I wanted to be the first one to wish him a happy birthday. And then there was just this weird thing after I sent the text and it just kind of hit me. Like, oh crap, it's game day. They have the Montreal Canadiens starting in just under 2 hours. Oh, no, it's probably a bit more than that because there's no such thing as an accurate puck drop time in hockey. Tonight have the chance to move on to the Stanley Cup final for the first time since 1993. The first Canadian... The Habs have a chance at making it to the Stanley Cup final with a win tonight for the first time since 1993. They'd be the first Canadian team since 2011 to do it. We all remember how that ended, and that's coincidentally the last time the Habs won the Cup was 93, and of course the last time a Canadian team won the Cup. Even though we never, hockey media never shuts up about that, everyone probably knew that, but
Really?
I don't know what to say. In the preview for this game. So we might as well rewind a bit. We'll talk about game 5. By the time this is up, it will immediately be out of date. However,
we'll have fun being out of date.
Yeah. I think that was a fun game for Montreal looking back, game 5. They were the better team. They won. Vegas were never, ever really in it. And their forwards continue to be a bit of a question mark. First, so we can talk about, he wasn't amazing. He wasn't the exact reason they lost, but Marc-Andre Fleury got the start in game 5. I was expecting Robin Leonard. I don't know about you guys. He looked a little shaky though to start. I thought he went to go play the puck when Josh Anderson was on the ice in the first. I'm like, you gonna do that? You're gonna be brave? He just looked a bit shaky. I don't know. He wasn't ready for the game, I thought.
I mean, last episode, I thought it was weird that they did go to Leonard, but I think after watching Leonard and then watching Fleury's first game back with 2020 hindsight, obviously, I would have stuck with Leonard because I thought Leonard had not that he was the reason they won per se, but I thought he had such a impressive game compared to the last time he played in the playoffs. And, him not playing for such a long stretch of time and to have that performance, I think once he gets into the groove of things, that's when you're going to see the best Robin Leonard, because that's how goalies are.
Leonard made a lot of what we would call the timely saves, I think, when he started game 4.
Yes.
What I kind of feel is I don't know. Like I just don't understand Pete DeBoer sometimes when he goes to this whole thing where he wants to give both goalies a chance, but it's weird. It's like you're giving them the chance where it matters the most in a way where it's like you keep going back and forth to things. I kind of agree that the way Vegas played with Robert Leonard in there, they didn't really deserve to win, to be honest. Their forwards again were not playing as they were expected, and I would have rode with that. Even though I love Fleury, I would have gone with Robert Leonard again. Not because I predicted what was going to happen, but also it's just, it's such a short time frame where it's like if you had the momentum going already, why would you want to go back and forth again? Why would you want to kind of start that again? I don't know what this is going to mean, to be honest, because I saw Robert Leonard being in the starting net during practice.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's something that if you're going to go with one guy, just keep going with the one guy. Especially when you made that decision already to go with someone that did get a win for you.
You're automatically just ripping, goaltenders like going. Like they want the net. They play like yo-yoing a guy. It's not a good idea, especially with goaltenders. I don't like the idea with it. I think it is the right decision that all signs are the point to Leonard being in that tonight. The thing is in this series is both teams expect to have the better goaltender. And I think the moment Fleury sort of looked as shaky as he did, I want to say game 3 it was? Yeah, because it was the opposite of game 4. Better team lost in both occasions, though. Weird, DeBoer. From everything I understand, that was very much that move was in his character, in his coaching style. If this is some sort of way to kick up, he's quoted that it's Fleury's rest in that. In the middle of a series, though, I feel like that's more trying to send a message, like almost playing with the goalie. And if there's a position I would not mess with, it is your goaltender.
And don't they say to, number one, ride the hot hand, and then number 2, that not necessarily, I guess in this case it wasn't, but like this next game could be your last of the season. Mm-hmm. And we've had that discussion for how many teams, for multiple players. So for him to go back to Fleury, or like just, it was weird to me. It was weird.
I don't want to criticize the Vegas forwards because I know if I do too much, they're going to be unleashed tonight because that's just the way it works. However,
I was just say it did work with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
5 points from their defense the next night.
We will get to that. No, we will get to that. However, I thought it was very uncharacteristic of Mark Stone to act the way he did last game, and that is when he turned over the eventual Cole Caulfield goal. He went onto the bench. He slammed the door of the bench shut, making we all know Mark Stone is a very animated player. And so I think it's something we all like about the guy, besides that his amazing two-way play. I don't know what it is with those group of players. Like Malicious, I don't think I've heard William Karlsson's name once this entire series. And it feels like people are making a lot of comparisons to the Dallas series already.
Yeah, what I found with Mark Stone is when he had that turnover, he knew it. Like, I remember when they used the behind the goalie cam. Mm-hmm. And then when the breakout happened, you just saw Mark Stone just kind of just stop and look as the goal happened. That it's just just that giving up kind of stance he had there, which was really surprising to me because, again, you said he's not an animated guy. He's someone that kind of keeps those emotions in place. But I really feel like things are kind of building up. And I guess someone that is not a Habs fan per se, but I'm a Habs fan right now for you, Adam, at a certain extent. It's just what's going on with these forwards, and it's a weird thing to me because when we look back on 2018, and their first line is essentially their second line now from that team. Mm-hmm. So they have the experience of making this run. Is really no excuse for no production from that line, and then you have that much improved line of their first one now, and I'm not seeing much out of it. I know Chandler Stevenson is not 100%, but
That is half of Montreal, so people should shut
Yeah.
up about Vegas being hurt. People really need to stop doing that.
again, yeah. But
It's
like
a playoff thing, though.
Stone
you know
and
what I mean?
Pacioretty, it's like
Exactly.
they're there. They're
Pacioretty scored?
Yeah, he did.
I was terrified when he did, by the way. By the way, I'm sorry that I'm not dunking on you here, Daniel. I said
No
that
problem.
Stone was animated because I mean is like he doesn't smash his stick like a Jamie Benn does, but his facial expressions are like he's not Henrik Lundqvist crap body language, but he's Mark Stone like I was so close. But in the playoffs, you kind of have to set that aside. And their post game after game 4 or 2, game 5, sorry. God, what was the last game? No, when we recorded last, it was after game 4, wasn't it? Feels like forever ago. Alex Pietrangelo has been the most impressive Vegas Golden, maybe the most impressive player in this series. And he's getting a little frustrated too because he is just carrying the workload, him and that entire defense.
He's been their best player for, I'd say, most of the playoffs.
Moment it started. When it's just
Like
he was-
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
I was just gonna point out, we not that he disappeared per se, but I think when during the regular season, you didn't hear much about Alex Pietrangelo, and it might have been concerning to some people considering the contract he's just signed, but the reason they brought him in, other than like if you take him out of the lineup and let's say you put back Nate Schmidt, this team is still a playoff team. This team is probably still getting to the second round, and it's going to be an intense battle against Colorado, against whoever. But you brought in Alex Pietrangelo for the next step. So this, like, you brought in Stone, you brought in Pacioretty, and now you brought in Pietrangelo and Robin Leonard. Like, let's not forget that as well. Like, you've set this team up, and now your forwards again aren't coming through, and it's just even as an outsider, it's frustrating to watch.
And to cover the knock on wood here, they could always show up. That those group of players, they have the potential. I am not going to ask for a prediction. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm an extremely superstitious person. I always put my hair to the right. I've had a shower every time since the playoffs have started. When something goes wrong, I've adjusted it. I am like, I can't, I'm not going to put this into the air. I can't.
I hear Alex is only a little stitious though.
A little bit.
Okay, just a little stitious. All right. Anything else we need to mention from the Habs series? I don't think. Actually, one more thing, and we will say here, the officiating was not terrible because it was Furlat and Kelly Sutherland. However, like early in the game, there was the cross check that Paul Byron did that was a Paul call, and you're like, okay, that's a penalty. And I was talking to Baldwin, and Will Baldwin's like, as long as we're doing that for both sides. I was like, okay, fair enough. And then it felt like, and I think there were more calls missed on Montreal's end, honestly. But then again, like that third period, I thought everything was a penalty the way I was feeling in that game. I'll tell you. There were still throughout the game some inconsistencies, but I don't think it was as bad as Tampa and the Islanders. That's the transition because in Game 6, Nikita Kucherov was cross-checked. It didn't look disastrous at first, but he didn't come back to the game. We'll get into the specifics of it in a bit of Game 5 in a second here. But there was no penalty on the play. And apparently what the official said to Tampa Bay were the cross-check wasn't malicious because apparently accidental calls aren't penalties in this league anymore. And guess who the referee was? It was Chris Lee, who has been kicked off the Habs series, going to the Islanders in Tampa, and the officiating has been god-awful again.
This is brutal. Like, I don't know any other way to describe it other than this is just brutal.
You're moving away. You're moving the problem around.
It's like, what's the thing? Swapping deck chairs?
Like, honestly, like that, this is what's happening. And now, oh I don't know. Like, how many times have we talked about refereeing and Department of Player Safety? And like, I'm just repeating myself at this point. When there is such a discrepancy between the fans and the referees and the players, it's like, what are we doing here? What, like the discussions we're having, we shouldn't be. I think that's that simple.
Guys, I accidentally burnt down a building, but I'm technically not guilty of anything because I didn't mean to do it. Like, what garbage excuse for not making a call? Again, Kucherov never came back to that game. And Tampa ends up losing that, and the Islanders force a game 7. Good part of that game was it was a real character win in the same way for the Islanders, who were up 2-0 in that. Sorry, they were down 2-0 in the game itself. However, a big game for Matt Barzal, I thought, after was called out by Barry Trotz after Game 5, and the cross check that I don't think should have been a fine, honestly, because it was. I think Ruta purposely took a little while to stand back up. It was a penalty, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that was a fine. You guys have a thought first on how the Islanders rebounded after they were just humiliated 8-0 in Game 5, and in front of their home fans in Nassau. They're looking to come back there in the Cup final. They forced a Game 7 against the reigning defending Stanley Cup champions.
Those were bad goals Andrei Vasilevsky let in. I mean, the first one was pretty skilled, but the Scott Mayfield one, I don't know. He's a big goalie. He should have used his size in that situation, and I don't know why he made himself smaller to, like, I know what he was going for that one. Like, it's, yeah, I'm not dissing Scott Mayfield offensively, but it's, he's not Ryan Pulock on that. He's not a Nick Leddy on that team. Like, that's a shot you're supposed to stop, and he had a clear view of that one.
I think I remember Gary Galley saying on the broadcast, and he says a lot of stuff.
I was going to say.
But he said, like, Vasilevsky is a tall goalie with long legs. I'm like, well, first off, that's most goalies. Anyway, but it was a good point retrospectively. It's like, dude, you got to cover the damn net. I thought, first off, a pretty sick pass from Barzal. Like, I thought that was a pretty nice play. The Eberle one, I don't know, because that was it was a wicked backhander, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I don't know why I added wicked on that. I could have just said it was a pretty nice backhander, but Team Canada savior, Jordan Eberle. What about that? Like, there was that really weird stretch, and it feels like it happens every time Chris Lee sort of has a game where it's like there's nothing called for like the first 2 periods, and then all of a sudden there's a flurry of penalties. And it felt like every time a Tampa Bay defenseman had their stick out, they were tripping someone. I think it was that wicked. Why did you say wicked? There was that really bad 5-on-3 power play for the Islanders where it's like, hey, we're going to keep taking one-timers and point shots and have no one in front of the net, which was a bold strategy. I'll tell you, I watched a lot of those power plays all year with Montreal. They don't work. And it did not work for the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, they still won, though, right?
They did. They did.
And that's the important thing.
They haven't scored a power play goal at home in forever, apparently, which is very strange.
That's surprising.
Can you hear anything from my background, by the way?
No.
Okay, because here's what really funny. I have headphones on right now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I can hear the crowd.
There's quite a bit of people. There's quite a few people
the building.
Outside. I did see. I saw a picture on Instagram, on Twitter. Sorry.
What's the slogan?
Go Habs, go.
Which slogan?
I don't know. Like, I was thinking like there's gonna be like a slogan, like, every time, like, at Jurassic Park there was Northern Uprising with the North.
Celine Dion. Everyone thought she was a traitor.
I thought it.
So did I, man. I saw that picture. I'm like, how? Here's what's really funny. One of the corners of the Bell Center when they intersect, on one corner is Carey Price, and on the other is Celine Dion. Like, she's like the pride and joy of Quebec. Like,
we're gonna take someone from Vegas. The Killers.
The what?
The band, the Killers.
I like the Blue Men. I think they're funny.
We're taking the Blue Men group.
Did you watch, by the way, did you guys, by the way, catch any of the? Have you watched any of Vegas's pregame ceremony. Sorry, Islanders, but we'll have a good deep into Game 7 of them in Tampa Bay. Have you caught any of the pregame stuff?
I've seen
Tampa
some
Bay?
of it, not a whole lot.
Yeah, not. It's still theatrical.
Yeah. So I found a video. My mom found the video. I'll just take credit for it though. It was their thing against the Habs, right? And it's so freaking cheesy. It's like back in the original days, there were 6 original teams. And it's like, the Rangers, Detroit, Chicago, Boston, Toronto, the Habs. And then there were also the Golden Knights. And you're just like, wait a minute here. And the Habs banished them. I'm like, what is this?
No.
This is not historically correct.
You know what it's like? This is it's like, you know,
like that.
you know the scene at the end of episode 9 where Ray says she's Ray
I don't even wanna hear
Skywalker. It's like that.
What? Yellow lightsaber?
It's like that.
Stop it.
Sorry.
No.
Okay,
No.
that's what it's like. You're ruined. Like, no, don't do it. It's cheesy. It fits Vegas because it's Vegas and everything's 10 times grander and spectacle in Vegas. But nah, not that.
I mentioned this joke before with you guys with the Star Wars one where I think people are doing like a meme with it. It's like Ray who? And then she says Ray Star Wars.
or where she says it and then Dwight pops up and it's like identity theft is not a joke. That's the best one.
I can't stand watching Vegas' stuff. It's Vegas. I'm not dissing it as a game thing. I think it's hilarious. It's the identity of your franchise, but I just think it's like if you go to a game in Montreal, they're chant carry, they're cheer loud, and they might taunt your goalie, and that's it. It's simple and it's loud in Montreal. And Vegas is just this. It's awful. I hate it.
I think Vegas is it's like a play on it because they know how cheesy it is, but at the same time, I applaud them for making these random narratives because for a while there, like we only saw them bring up celebrities. Like I remember Gene Simmons always doing like the pump up speech for them.
They still
was
are
that-
bringing celebrities.
Yes, Gene Simmons was there earlier in the series.
Yeah.
Isn't Usher there or something?
Yeah, Usher was
and
there.
they lost.
Yeah, so don't bring Usher back.
Forget Usher. Who likes Usher?
I don't know.
Did you guys see the video, by the way, of Carey Price wooing?
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw that.
I have never seen that once in my life. That was an eclipse. So you're never going to see that again.
Just because of that, they got to bring in Ric Flair.
Yes.
I don't want him anywhere near this game.
No, just in the crowd. Just in the crowd.
Just,
Got to dub it over.
Yeah.
Woo, no,
The
no.
Woo line, like the
See-
HBK line.
No. We have the washing machine line, full load, full cycle, delicate dry, all that kind of stuff.
That's so good.
Anyway, Game 7 predictions for the Islanders and Tampa Bay.
I'm still going with Tampa Bay. Like
Tampa.
yeah.
Yeah. 3-2 in overtime.
Who gets the game winner?
Barclay Goodrow.
Oh no. That's gonna
Now-
that narrative is if that narrative gets shoved down my throat that these guys won the series, I am going to flip and lose it.
Now, remind me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but did Barclay Goodrow not score the overtime Game 7 goal for San Jose against Vegas?
Yes, he did.
Because it was like his first shift of overtime, and it was off a wicked Eric Carlson feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. I remember Couture was on the ice for like the whole time, and then it was like last minute. Here's Barclay Goodrow. Get out of here!
Some say that justified him being traded for a first.
I mean, they won the cup
I know, yeah.
as in Tampa when they got him, but
Yeah. Before we move on from the series, there was something from Game 5 that I've read and I've heard quite a bit. I don't know if this is just a media narrative, like they're driving it down, but they keep talking about how once Tampa was up in like the third period, the Lightning had a power play and they threw out their first power play unit and they're making it out to be this big deal. Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't see that as that big of a deal.
so I'll tell you why I do think it is.
Okay.
Because apparently it was a response to, I can't remember who threw the hit. It was one of the Islanders, and they had laid out one of Tampa's players.
Sure.
And it was Cooper after that saying, okay. So I don't have a problem with it. However, I think it's a big deal because you never ever see it. Remember when
that's what I
Montreal got called out by Alain Vigneault and
Yes.
Kirk Muller was like, we don't have practice time. But what Tampa did and what John Cooper did, which I thought was a gangster move, was like, you want to play that game? All right, I'm going to run up the score.
So yeah, I meant as in it was seen as a bad thing. Like the media, they keep talking about it and everyone's in agreement that no one really cares.
Yo, was Don Cherry back?
I'm like, everyone's in agreement that they're fine with what they did, but they keep talking about it. So let's move past it.
What did Anthony Stewart say? Oh, they've run out of goals.
Yeah, how? It's
Brayden
like
Point scores 9 straight power play games.
what was the score against Germany? Canada and Germany.
It's like 15-1.
Okay, they still made the finals. Okay. They found the goals. Yeah, they lost, but they still made it. Made it to the finals.
It's too early to say that, guys. Sorry, I'm not over it yet.
It's not like they were shoving their man. Caulfield and Zegras. We're big fans of that. Big fans of that. All right. Crap. Okay, okay. Wow, we got through that really quickly. Okay, award stuff. Lou Lamoriello again is GM of the year. Despite I'm mad about this. So Marc Bergevin apparently got the most first place votes, but
by
he
2,
lost
right?
out. I think it was by 1. He had
By
one more
1?
first
Wow.
place vote. I'm not saying that Marc Bergevin was screwed, but I think Marc Bergevin was screwed. Even though it's Breezeball's award.
I was gonna say, do you know who's more screwed than both of them?
Was it Breezeball 6th?
Yeah, he was.
That's it.
Kyle Dubas was at 4th, right?
I don't even care where Kyle Dubas was. I'm more concerned that Julian Breezeball wasn't even a finalist.
You know what was criminal about this?
What?
Bill Guerin was 7th.
Oh my God! Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, who votes for it? It's a collection of media and thingy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Collection of people who don't care.
You know what we're gonna do when we could vote? We're gonna be a voting block.
All right. Something Lou. I mean, he probably shouldn't have done it. I don't think he was GM of the year. But then again, if they win the cup, then who cares? I mean, we're gonna forget about this by the end of the summer.
Question: what do you think, since he won, his best move of the year?
Say the Sajak Palmieri deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
What else? He
What else did
re-signed Pulak and
Matt
Barzal, which was great, by the way. But he didn't really do. He didn't do much else. Okay, here's what I'll say about Lou Lamoriello because I don't know how much time you want to spend on it. I don't want to be the salty Leafs fan because I honestly don't care where Lou is at the moment. But I think a lot of people give him a lot of credit and don't give enough credit to Barry Trotz. They are extremely successful for the most part because the players are buying in to Barry Trotz's system. Mm-hmm. Lou's great and all. The way he sets up the team in terms of culture and the rules and stuff like that is fine. There's some things I disagree with, whatever. But a lot of what's going on is the way Barry Trotz plays system impacts the team and how those guys are completely buying into it.
Mm-hmm. It was literally the Islanders used to leak goals, and then Barry came in, and it's all right, you're just not going to get any shots on us. And then now here they are of conference final wins back-to-back years, and they've obviously you give him credit because you can already hear the people saying he hired Barry Trotz. Yeah, he did, but Barry then goes from there. It is the start of that chain. And I think we talked about it. Barry Trotz not winning the Jack Adams this year was purely about the fact of we now know how good the Islanders are. Right. And if you want to even more doubt Barry Trotz, just look at the Capitals since he left. They haven't won a series. They're a disaster.
Lost a bit of discipline there too, with their pool parties.
Yeah, alleged pool parties, Daniel. Alleged pool parties.
Yeah.
that, and like they just old now. They're really old.
They have
However,
Ilya Samsonov.
yeah, who lost them a game.
And I mean they're pretty good. Like, well, no, who do they have? They have Connor
Fucking
McMichael.
Yeah,
Got
they
real
do.
quiet there. It got real quiet.
Yeah, I don't know why they get quiet there. That guy has an amazing name,
He
Connor
does.
McMichael.
Michael McConnor,
I hate betting odds. By
David
the way.
McConnor.
Guys, Vegas
Yeah.
are the favorites to win tonight, apparently, and the favorite to score first.
Yeah, but look at all our polls on Instagram. What did they
Man,
say?
Montreal had a less than 20% chance of this thing, and they can clinch tonight. Like, get out of here with betting odds. Rooting, like, it grows the sport's good money, but betting odds ruin the sport for me. Every time I see them, like, get out. Justin Bourne, by the way, was on Tim and Friends, and he just, I don't know what, he looked so animated. I love Justin Bourne, by the way. What a great guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Brother of Jason.
I don't think so.
No.
Jason Bourne.
Son-in-law of Clark Gillies.
No. Son
that.
of Bob Bourne.
Yeah, good old Bob Bourne. I have never heard.
What?
I think Daniel saw it too.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
For those of you who are not watching the YouTube feed, and you should, my mother very calmly and very quietly tried to duck out of the frame.
Oh.
She was just
I didn't
over
even see-
trying to go onto the patio.
I didn't even see it.
Oh, where were we?
On Lou,
Bob Bourne.
Bob Bourne.
Bob Bourne. Yeah, no one knew who Bob Bourne was until Justin Bourne came into our lives. Where were we? Seattle. They did something. They hired their head coach, the first one in franchise history. Now, what's interesting is last show we were like, when Friedman reported there were all the names and there was a mystery name, and it was either right after or before that segment he mentioned that the Leafs were having their assistants interviewed. Didn't mention any teams, and we criticized. We're like, "Come on, Elliot, do your job better." And then, no, we didn't really. But come on.
We love you, Elliot.
And then, what do you know? One of the Leafs assistants, Dave Haxtell, gets hired as the first coach in Seattle Kraken history. It was not Rick Tocchet, who I thought everyone sort of at the end thought it was. It was not Tony Granato. It was not Gerard Gallant, because he got hired, obviously.
It was not Joe Sacco.
It was not Joe Sacco. It was Haxtell. I don't think any of us saw this coming. It's a bold move, and you know what? I think back to it didn't go great in Philly. But he went to Toronto, probably learned some lessons there, and he'll be able to bring that forward to a nice young group. And I wonder if you look back, and I don't know exactly if I think Hextall would have hired Hextall. And we all know how patient Ron Hextall was.
Yeah.
And that's what got him fired, even though looking back at how the Flyers are, maybe it would have been a better idea to sort of be a bit more patient with that ownership group. And maybe like restarting this team and seeing where they are if they decide to go the rebuilding young route, this could be a really good hire.
Yeah, I agree. I think, sorry, I think it could work out. I think those years in Philly obviously didn't go as planned, but we've seen it before, guys. Spend a few years as assistants and then take back head coaching jobs. I mean, like, look at DJ Smith. Yes, he was an NHL head coach before per se, but he spent, I want to say 2 years with the Leafs, and then he's the head coach of the Ottawa Senators. And look at the back end of that year. They looked of this year. They looked quite good. Like, sometimes you just patience, right? You said it. Sometimes you just got to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree that, taking the assistant job with the Leafs was in a way a step back for him, but for him to stay in the loop of things, because he really did focus on what he needed to. And he really helped the Leafs with, I guess, this not rebranding per se, but these improvements that they had throughout the season. And it was really evident with especially the guys they got there, especially in the defensive core. And I think he wanted another shot to things. And I think that Seattle, more so what you said, Adam, about the fact that they might take that rebuilding route or that really slow gradual route, is going to work a lot better for him, because I think he really had a tough situation in Philly because, and again, this is the narrative we have of the Flyers every year, is that they're under pressure to try and win it, especially with their aging core, especially with the amount of money they have committed to these guys. That was something that, again, it's like Vegas. It's like it was like a short leash, sorry, with things that now with Seattle, he could have the time to implement his game. He could time to implement what he wants for the players he's going to get. And I think that he is set up a lot better now than Philly for success.
Fair enough. I can't believe it was so quiet, though.
Yeah.
I didn't know it all. That was the mystery name.
It does it's, I mean, it's surprising, but it's not surprising because nothing comes out of, there's certain organizations in the league that nothing comes out of, and the Leafs seem to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it's like, I get that this name, that Dave Axtell's name kind of came out of nowhere.
Lads, I'm pretty happy when I see former players come back to their teams in some capacity. It is kind of funny, though, when they leave. And I don't think there's been a team that has had more guys come and go of their alumni than the Ottawa Senators.
I thought this was going somewhere else.
I know you thought I was going to talk about the Sedins, didn't you?
Yeah, you got me.
We were going to
get me with this mystery content.
Mm-hmm. By the way, in a second, I'm going to watch. You know the Habs, the 2,500, 75,000 guy? We had the periods on Tim and Sid. I'm going to watch that afterwards. Cool. So this is from Ian Mendez. Like Sean Reynolds is talking to him. Like, what? This is Ian Mendez on Twitter. Over the past few days, there have been rumblings in the charitable sector in Ottawa that changes were afoot with the Senators Community Foundation. Chris Phillips has confirmed to me that he submitted his resignation from the club. He declined to comment further. Then Elliot Friedman had a little quote tweet about it, good old E as we call him. A bit more on this. Last week, Ottawa let go of Brad Weir, hired in September 2020 as a senior director of the Ottawa Community Foundation. It is believed Phillips resigned due to that move. There's been some word about cost-cutting measures coming into play. And again, Phillips himself hasn't said anything official yet, but it doesn't look good when in the span of 2 years, you lose another, cut ties, it seems to be, with another charitable organization. And the Sens were doing so well.
It's not even some charitable organization. It's your charitable organization. How do you let this happen? Like, I can't think of another team, like, other than the Arizona Coyotes, but I think that's a lot more internal than it is external. This has to be the worst external stuff ever. Like, first, you can't even get like an arena deal, and like, this is 4 years ago now, but like this started with that, like the arena deal. Then you can't pay Erik Karlsson. Like, my God, like, this is just, what else am I supposed to say? Like, this is just embarrassing at this point. If like for the Senators, and like, I don't blame Pierre Dorian, I don't blame DJ Smith, I don't blame the players. Like, this is above these guys, and it's just embarrassing.
It's a big PR hit for sure. Chris Phillips is so loved by the team, and it's just reminiscent now of what happened with Daniel Alfredsson when he decided to just get up and leave the team. And again, like, for a team that, I don't know, there's so much turmoil there. It's just like, one by one, you see these moves alienating a lot of really what, like, their core fan base kind of relies on, where you're going to look back on, I guess, you know, the Sens when they were atop of the Eastern Conference, when they had Spezza, they had Alfredsson, they had Chris Phillips, they had Wade Redden, they had Zdeno Chara, and so on, Marian Hossa. And to kind of strip that away, you know, in what you said, the charity sector of this is just, it's like a gut punch in a way. It's just like, let's cause controversy in a place where there shouldn't be controversy. This is like, this is not the extent, but it reminds me like a Scott Tots kind of thing, where it's like we are helping the community with this, but not really.
Did you guys see, by the way, that Tuck may be scratched tonight for Ryan Reeves?
Oh, come on.
I was seeing that and I'm like, please let that happen.
Oh
anyway.
my God, that's brutal. Like that's
that will get you more goals.
That's the closest thing to a fireable offense. Like, come on. Ryan Reeves for Alex Tuck.
All right. Last thing here. On to two last things. The Sedins are officially hired as special advisors to the GM, to Jim Benning. Good old Jim. They said, we don't take this lightly. We didn't want to just come in because of our names. They're eager to learn. They want them to be treated as rookies. They're coming in as rookies. I wonder if this is a sort of... I think we kind of saw this with Roberto Lalonga when he's been doing in the international stuff for Team Canada. If it's the sort of introductory course for... two things. First off, it feels like a lot of this is going to be towards player relations with the Sedins, and who better than... I don't think anyone's ever said a bad thing about the Sedin brothers. I mean, even in BX's speech on their retirement, even he barely... I think the worst thing he said about them was they like chocolate. There is no better pair of people to bring in to sort of bridge that gap. And also a window for the Sedins to come back into the hockey world.
I think perfect for them. Like they're eager, like what they said, they want to learn, they want to get more acquainted with another aspect of the hockey world. But another thing too is if we're going to go from one bad PR move of the Ottawa Senators, I think this is a perfect one for the Vancouver Canucks, where we always talked about Jim Benning, that really dominated a lot of the things. And then to bring back two core favorite guys who are willing to work with him, that is just a perfect thing to boost the image again of the franchise. So a great move for them.
When I first saw the announcement, my first thought was I can totally imagine the two of them being like the first co-general managers. Like co-managers, like from The Office, since we're throwing office references out there, but like it actually works.
Yeah, I like that. Are they assistant to the general manager right now?
I mean, I guess so. I'm not entirely sure what special advisor to the general manager.
Sorry, just the references. I think I just see Alex's shirt and like the references are all coming out. So wearing a Dunder Mifflin shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, he was apparently DeBoer then said, "Never mind, Tuck's fine." But they had Reeves skating with him, like in his spot in the third line. Why did they ruin my fun like that? How dare you? Final piece of business. ESPN picks up another former Oiler with next to no personality, this time Mark Messier, who just hates... Why not lift the cookie over your head, Mark? Come on. Takes the time to go do his commercials with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Ice-T.
I still love his Lay's commercials. I remember when I watched them as a little kid. I was probably, like 6? And I'm like, he's such a nice guy.
Messier?
Yeah, I remember at the time.
You're not from Vancouver.
I know. Where I actually didn't know as a kid he was on the Canucks. I thought it was only the Oilers and Rangers.
It took me a while in my hockey fandom to find out, because it's just sort of a scorched earth part of his career.
You know how I found out? This is a really random story.
Okay.
So, remember Zellers?
Yes.
For some reason, they never updated their toys. Like I remember,
like
I was really little, and the Zellers in Center Point.
Yes. Oh my!
In their clearance aisle, they had a Mark Messier action figure, and I'm like, oh, his jersey's wrong. Why is it on the Canucks?
Well, there's your answer to why the stuff was outdated, because it was in the clearance section.
Yeah, but I was wondering, like, what? Like, I'm like, but like that was like 5 years ago at the time,
right?
And it was still there, and then I was like, what? This is probably why it's on sale. I don't know, like my kid mentality, like, this is probably why it's on sale. It's like a factory defect.
There are still sport checks out there that have clearly outdated jerseys, so don't worry.
I've seen the odd Joffrey Lupul. I think at Hillcrest Mall.
Yeah,
in Sport Check, they still have the Joffrey Lupul jersey in the sale section.
Brutal.
So we've only been recording for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're done.
I know.
We
It's the shortest
have
episode.
nothing else to talk about.
We should take some calls
Unless-
we should take some calls and questions.
Question then. Ring, ring, ring.
Oh, yeah,
Ring,
sorry.
ring. You got to pick up the phone, Daniel. Ring, ring.
This is a banana phone.
Yeah.
Ring, ring. Yeah,
I'm on the
hi.
phone.
Is this the
Hi.
201 podcast?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Adam, longtime listener, first-time caller from Montreal, Quebec. Go, let's go. What do you guys think is the key for the Islanders in Game 7, considering we always look at how good they are at home, but you got to win a road game to make it to the Cup final? Thanks.
I really kind of feel that once we get towards the end of the third period, they just got to try to make sure they have more goals than Tampa. I think that would be the key to it. I don't know.
That was the most hockey answer.
No, he didn't say pucks in deep.
I know, but he was close enough that it was the hockey answer of the century. I guess to answer that, it's a cheesy answer, but they have to play their game. They have to play their game and keep Tampa on the outside. Like what New York does well from reading and watching them is they're fine with allowing outside shots.
Yeah.
And if you do that, Varlamov or Sorokin, whoever's in net, like doesn't matter, are both extremely capable goalies. And if they could do that, it just makes their job so much easier. And don't go on the power play. That's one thing. Like do not let Tampa go on the power play.
Yeah,
Sorry. I always think about Mike Babcock saying the Leafs toughness was their power play. I truly think in Tampa's case, it is part of their toughness, because for the most part, they can score on the power play. Like that's not an issue for them.
They did do a good job of killing off Tampa's penalty in Game 6. Daniel.
Yeah, what I kind of feel is, and I've said it before, where it is kind of like the way the Islanders are built and the way Tampa is built. It's just the Islanders in terms of their defense. It's so good that it's like they're fighting off hordes in terms of offense. And you really have to make sure you always get those outside shots in, because a lot of times when they get those forwards in there too deep, it causes a goal because they have the skill to get through to it. Like all those Braden Point goals have been those skilled shots. When Nikita Kucherov was healthy, he was able to get into that area. And that's the thing. Like when they had the open ice, I remember the Kucherov pass to Andre Palat. That was another thing.
Wait, what do you mean Kucherov was healthy? I thought he just randomly came back from his surgery, perfect timing, and maybe he was still a little. You're saying he was healthy? Really? Wow, that's what perfect thingy for Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
Wow, good for them. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back for Game 7 and it just lights out.
I have a feeling that we're going to see, like, something's going to happen, and we're going to see Varlamov and Sorokin again in one game. Like, I always feel like that's been the theme.
Are you predicting a blowout?
No, it's like, I don't know,
get
either
hurt?
a blowout or, like, someone might think they're hurt, but then they come back into the game.
Remember when Jeff Ward pulled, I forget, was it Rittich or who was in net? Anyway, he pulled one of the Calgary goaltenders against the Stars in the playoffs just because he's like, I was going to put them back in a few shifts later like it was Junior.
I think that would have been Talbot.
Yeah?
David Riddick.
What a weird coach. What a really, really weird coach. Okay.
Now, I have a question.
Sure.
What does Montreal we probably talked about, but what does Montreal have to do to win tonight?
The easy answer is score 2 goals because they haven't lost when they've scored twice, which is so weird, by the way. I think it's pretty important that I think it's going to be an early weathering storm from the Golden Knights. You just have to continue to frustrate them because when they were losing their game, the game was getting so loose, and it benefits Montreal. When they're able to slice through the neutral zone the way they do, you never want to – listen, you know that a lot of people would first off say it's okay if the Habs go shorthanded because their penalty kill is at 90+%, and they've killed off 28 straight, just a record apparently in the league. Joe Thornton, last guy to get a power play goal versus the Habs, attaboy, Hall of Famer. But eventually that bubble's going to burst. So again, there's a lot of good players on Vegas, and you can't slip up. You can't get past your game. You know Price is going to do his job. Everyone else has to continue to do theirs, and I really hope Caulfield gets one past Robin Leonard so we can go back to that sort of meme. By the way, Cole, 3 goals in this series, by the way. All of them are his goals in the playoffs, too, so that's pretty sweet. You know, stuff like that. Honestly, it's whoever plays their – I forgot who said this. It may have been Bob Gainey. I could be wrong. Whoever plays their game the best wins the Stanley, you know, can do the thing. I don't want to say it, but we've seen that. And if Montreal can do their thing here on – by the way, happy Jean-Baptiste Day, guys. Yeah. This city is going to be rocking. So 93. One more game. And
the Blue Jays won.
Yeah. Score first, by the way, big thing for Montreal. Because, you know, they're pretty good at doing that. Goal support for Price.
Was it 93, Daniel, the one with the famous home run call?
Yeah, Joe Carter with the walk-off home run.
Right.
And then we never thought the Blue Jays.
Don't you find that interesting that it's the second one that everyone, like, that's the one that they remember?
Yeah, which is weird because, like, 92 was their first
right.
one.
Yeah, sorry. Just popped in my
Busy
head.
times when Canadian teams won.
It's just like a long time ago. All
Okay,
right.
we still have the Argos.
I went for Vancouver in 2011, but I did not go for Edmonton in 2006.
No one goes for Edmonton.
Right.
Also, they beat the last Mighty Ducks team in the conference finals. I've said that how many times on this, but I had to just reiterate it. And that was also the summer where I'm like, I never liked Chris Pronger. And then he gets straight to the Ducks. I'm like, all right, they're going to go for
Chris
it.
Pronger.
I like Chris Pronger.
It's like any team that Corey Perry goes to.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
I was a
Right.
Stars fan for a bit.
Right.
Okay, on that note, by the way, another call we forgot. How did they not call that check on Stamkos that cut him up, by the way? That was really dumb. Okay. Well, guys, that's it. Voice said, thank you as always. Great platform for the show. Check out the YouTube to see us. We're pretty sick. You can always, as well, go and check out all the social media, especially the TikTok. The TikTok is good. We like the TikTok. That last TikTok did really well, didn't it? The one talking about the officiating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely stuff.
Love the comments.
Lovely stuff. I haven't read them. Again, I don't have TikTok, so what are some of the comments like?
Some of them support us, and then some of them are like, these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of things like, I don't know. It's just
Let me
like we're
find.
sour Habs fans, sour Leafs fans.
There
You know,
was a
here and
good
there.
one. There was a good one that I actually replied to. Let's see if I can find it.
Why'd you reply?
No, because he says oh man, I was so good.
You know, technically we don't know what we're talking about because no one knows what officiating is. No one knows the rules in this game anymore. There are none. So yeah, salty. Yeah, my team's winning the series. Whatever. Okay.
So, someone goes, they aren't even Habs fans, and I go, whispers, yes, he is.
Let me just like hold on. Can I just get Patrick Wall?
Also, we are not. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, just trying to get the goalie mask tattoo of Patrick Wall on my
Oh,
leg
did you
up.
get it?
Oh, no, it's there.
We all know it's there.
Yeah.
If go look at an earlier episode, look at the
Yeah.
background.
Sure, it's
when you're
That'll be the thumbnail picture.
No, it's not. Okay. Check out Alex's blog, Daniel's stuff for the eye opener and the Hockey Writers. Be sure to freaking what else? I
LFR.
don't even remember. Oh yeah, no, it's not LFR.
Did you say LFR?
How dare you? How dare you say such a thing? Hold on. For some reason, all my things have disconnected. Okay, before I go, I'm just going to quickly go over. I'm going to open. Hold on. Oh, no. Just hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. We're just going to quickly go on a field trip. Okay.
Hear the
What's
crowd, I
that
could hear
theme
it.
song?
I could hear it, yeah.
I could hear it now. Yeah.
I would. Oh my freaking god! I don't know if you can kind of see it.
Wow.
but there are an insane amount of people. All right, we're ending. What?
I was gonna say, is that Montreal or Woodbridge?
Freaking, hockey. Okay, on that note, we're gone. We'll see you next time.